Is it me, or have you noticed a buzz around using topical estrogen on the face? In this video, I'm going to show you my results after using Alloy's M4 estrogen-based face cream for 3 months. Welcome back to Health Hackers, or if you're new to the channel, hello, I'm Gemma. I'm a former television journalist from the UK, now a toddler mum living in California, making review videos about health and wellness innovations and interviewing pioneering people in health. If you enjoy this video, I'd love it if you hit the like button or even subscribe and leave me a comment below, because my understanding is all of that can help contribute to making a video more popular and reach more people. So thank you in advance. And before we go any further, the obligatory disclaimer: anything you see or hear on Health Hackers should not be considered personal or medical advice. Talk to your healthcare providers about you. The Alloy M4 estrogen-based face cream I'm going to be talking to you about was prescribed to me by an Alloy doctor after completing an online assessment. At the time of recording, the cream is only available in the US, and what I'm about to share in this video is personal to me, my situation, my medical history, and my skin. You do you. Also, it's important to me that you know I paid for my subscription of M4 cream. I was refunded for the cost of my first bottle following some confusion over whether or not I was able to use it. I'll explain more about that. And if you see a link to buy from Alloy in the summary that goes with this video, using that link means I will receive an amount at no extra cost to you, which helps support my work on this channel. Remember, my reviews represent good faith and honest opinion. I will be telling you my likes as well as dislikes. Okay, let's begin. About M4 cream. Alloy says it's for any woman looking to reverse the effects of estrogen deficiency in the skin due to menopause, perimenopause, or just aging, loss of collagen, decreased elasticity, and dryness. The face cream is made with a form of estrogen called estriol. Estriol appears to be considered the weakest of the main types of estrogen in the body and is actually the predominant one during pregnancy. Alloy says its estriol-based M4 cream increases collagen production, retains and restores skin moisture, increases skin firmness, decreases pore size, and increases skin elasticity. Alloy suggests there are no hormonal side effects and it does not impact blood estrogen levels. This matters because there is fear about potential health risks surrounding the use of products that contain hormones. A clinical study incorporating M4 estriol face cream commissioned by Alloy involving females aged 50 to 60 who were no longer menstruating found there was no statistically significant change in estriol levels in the blood from baseline to week 12. If you're a long-time Health Hackers viewer or visitor to my website, you'll know I'm cautious about anything I put on my skin. I've had some skin challenges in the past. I'll put a link in the summary if you want to know more about that. Thankfully, my skin improved, and over the years I've learned a lot. I've discovered some chemical sensitivities, the potential impact of gut microbiome health, specific probiotics, hormonal changes, vitamins, environmental factors, and the significance of pH level in skincare products. I've reviewed various skin and skin-related products on my channel. Some of them I still use. See the summary text that goes with this video. But this is the first Health Hackers episode in which I'm reviewing an estrogen-based face cream. By the way, I'm British living in America, and I'm going to pronounce it estrogen because that's what it's called here. But in England, I would say estrogen. You probably know that estrogen declines as women age. That impacts our skin. As explained here on this PubMed Central article, estrogen deficiency following menopause results in atrophic skin changes. Atrophy, like wasting away. Estrogen insufficiency decreases defense against oxidative stress. Skin becomes thinner with less collagen, decreased elasticity, increased wrinkling, increased dryness, and reduced vascularity. I looked up reduced vascularity. It seems to mean decreased blood vessels leading to less blood flow and affecting nutrient and oxygen delivery to the skin. Alloy says, as your body stops producing estrogen, your skin loses its collagen. In the first 5 years after menopause, nearly a third of collagen is lost from the skin. Collagen helps maintain skin elasticity and plumpness. Alloy says that estriol, the type of estrogen that's in its M4 cream, works to increase collagen production. As I record this now, I am 40, and according to the North American Menopause Society, estrogen levels generally decline during perimenopause, but they do so in an irregular fashion. Perimenopause is the transition phase leading up to menopause and can apparently begin for some women while they're in their 30s. When I learned about M4 cream and when I did my 3-month review period with the cream for this video, I was 39 and had a couple of reasons to believe my skin may have been affected by estrogen deficiency. I had been breastfeeding for nearly 2 years, and as explained here on PubMed Central, lactation is another physiological state of low estrogen status. I had a history of suspected hypothalamic amenorrhea, which for me basically meant my menstrual cycle stopped at various points in my life, and hypothalamic amenorrhea is also associated with low estrogen levels. I wanted to try a face cream that could potentially help with what I felt was rapidly aging skin when I looked in the mirror. M4 is a prescription skin cream to be prescribed. The cream, I completed some questions on Alloy's website. The next day I got a message from an Alloy doctor saying she had reviewed my answers and approved my prescription for the M4 face cream. A patch test period was suggested. I was going to do that anyway, given my history of allergies and sensitivities. When the cream arrived, there was a delay in my starting to use the cream, which I will come on to explain. But when I eventually began applications of M4, I used it in the mornings before putting on sunscreen or makeup. I took before photos, then 3 months later, I took after photos. Across that 3-month period, there were just a few days when I didn't use M4 cream. Now, I didn't track which other products I used on my face each day during my Alloy M4 cream review period, but I've made a list below this video of the ones that I've used regularly for some time now, so I would guess I was using them back then too. When I took the before and after pictures, I tried to keep variables consistent. In my befores and afters, I was wearing no makeup, no creams, and they were all taken around 1 hour after a shower. I took pictures of my face at 3 different angles. I want to point out though that nearly 3 weeks into using M4 cream, I got my first period since having my baby more than 2 years prior. So it seems reasonable to assume my body's own hormone production could have had some positive effects on my skin at the same time that I was using M4. So let's start by looking at the front-facing images. The before is on the left and the right photo is after my 3 months with M4 cream. So I think the forehead lines in the before photo are more visible than in the after. They don't look as deep to me in this image. I realise I didn't keep my eyes open in the after image, and looking around the eye area, this is trickier to assess because it looks like there is comparatively more wrinkling over here in the after photo. Or is that because the lighting looks ever so slightly brighter? Or am I smiling a little more in the after? At the corner of my mouth here in the before photo, I wonder if those 2 small lines look more crepey and deep compared to how they look over here in the after image. By the way, if you're watching this and you spot some changes that I haven't noticed or mentioned, please do comment below and tell me. And a reminder, I'm not a scientist with a scientific camera. At 3 months apart, these were never going to be perfect comparison photos. Could the weather at different times of the year have even affected them? However, they are my before and afters. Here are the side-facing pictures. Now, I'd say the lines around the eye look a little deeper in the before photo compared to the after, and I can't decide whether it looks like there are more lines in the after photo. Now, this angle, the crepiness here on the outer eyelid looks like it might have reduced very subtly in the after photo, if that isn't just caused by a potential slight difference in facial expression or photographic angle, while there's a line further out here on the before that appears to be less visible over on the after image. Overall, I feel encouraged by the results. And now I'm going to tell you my likes and dislikes about M4 cream and my experience with Alloy. I'll begin with my likes. Firstly, I like the way the cream feels. It feels refreshing, comfortable. It doesn't make my eyes sting, even when applying on my eyelids. Alloy says it's suitable for sensitive skin. That makes sense to me. I feel like it absorbs nicely and doesn't seem like my sunscreen slides around on top of it. My next like, I made notes during my 3-month review period with M4 cream, and at one point I noted that around the 2-week mark I saw my reflection in my car mirror and I thought I looked less wrinkly around the eyes. I thought I looked fresher, younger. Although, as mentioned, this impression could also have been down to my own hormones coming back into play as my menstrual cycle was getting going again for the first time since having my baby more than 2 years prior. I noted at one point too that a small but persistent dark pinkish mark on one of my cheeks looked like it had almost gone. Although looking at my before and after photos, I don't actually see an improvement in the pink mark there. Next, as I've said about my before and after picture comparisons, overall I feel encouraged by the results, especially regarding the forehead lines. Other likes on my list include A bottle is said to be a 3-month supply, but I still had product left after my initial 3-month period with the cream, and there had only been a few days when I didn't use it. Also, there's a messaging service, so I could directly message my ally doctor with questions if I wanted to. Finally, the clinical study findings that support the safety of using M4 face cream, even though the results came out nearly 3 months after I had completed my M4 cream review period, and even though it wasn't a huge study, it began with 90 people and 30 were assigned the estriol M4 cream, I still wanted to include positive findings from that study within this likes list. Alloy says it contracted an independent expert dermatologist investigator to conduct a double-blind, 3-armed, placebo-controlled study. This involved females aged between 50 and 60 who are no longer menstruating. The paper says there was no statistically significant change in estriol levels in the blood from baseline to week 12. As stated here by Alloy on its website, the cream does not impact blood estrogen levels. The brand says M4 can be used with menopausal hormone therapy. Other findings displayed here on Alloy's website: statistically significant improvements seen in M4 cream compared to placebo in just 12 weeks include 88% improvement in elasticity, 70% improvement in hydration, 68% improvement in overall skin health, and 57% improvement in skin texture. Finally, I like what Alloy is doing. Said to be founded by 2 friends in their 40s, they're providing medical options for women experiencing menopausal and hormonal changes and symptoms. They don't accept insurance at this time, but I feel like I'm getting an education from the brand and some of the medical team members on social media. I've learned about a variety of things related to perimenopause and menopause. The brand's promise says, Alloy believes that every woman deserves accurate, up-to-date information and the agency to make her own decisions about her health based on facts, not fear. I like that. Now moving on to my dislikes. Firstly, some confusion when I first got my M4 cream. You see, back then I was still breastfeeding my toddler at times, so it was important to me to know if I could use M4 cream. My understanding from an Alloy team member was that yes, I could. I had also completed the online intake with that information. My Alloy doctor had approved my prescription for the cream. However, when it arrived, the label said not to use if breastfeeding. So I did not start using the cream and queried the issue with Alloy. The upshot was, after some back and forth, I had a phone call from Dr. Corinne Men, who is a medical advisor and prescribing physician for Alloy. She spoke to me about the safety of the cream, which allayed concerns I had about my circumstances, and she suggested the labelling was to do with a black box warning from some time ago. I recently asked an Alloy team member by email to confirm that that warning on the M4 label is something Alloy cannot change. If or when I get a response, I will update the summary text below this video. My Alloy prescribing physician had also explained to me that the disclaimer was because the cream is compounded, not FDA approved with numerous studies. This is a point I want to expand on a little. If a medication has been FDA approved, it means it's been reviewed and authorized by the US Food and Drug Administration based on research evidence showing safety and effectiveness for its use. M4 cream is compounded, which Alloy describes as a common practice where the ingredients are combined by a licensed pharmacy to create a new treatment. Away from Alloy, the obstetrician, gynecologist and author Dr. Jen Gunter posted about compounded estrogen face cream on her social media last year, suggesting a compounded product is not batch tested and that you're bearing all the risk as the consumer by not reliably knowing how much estrogen is absorbed across the skin or what effect it's having on the lining of the uterus. However, on Alloy's website, the company says they have their compounded products batch tested by an independent third-party laboratory to ensure the accuracy of dosing and purity. And as mentioned earlier, that clinical study incorporating M4 cream found there was no statistically significant change in estriol levels in the blood from baseline to week 12. Next on the dislikes list. I just discovered while making this video that also in the study, transepidermal water loss, or TEWL, was measured. TEWL is described as a measure of the water leaving the skin, and a lower number indicates superior skin barrier function. It said the estriol, so the M4 cream, produced a statistically significant increase in water leaving the skin of 13% at week 12, while the estradiol, another type of estrogen that was tested as a cream, and the placebo vehicle control demonstrated barrier neutrality. So I wondered, does that mean M4 cream negatively affects skin barrier function? At the same time, the study suggested none of the products tested were shown to induce irritation as evidenced by the subject tolerability ratings. And I've already told you about that reported 70% improvement in hydration and 68% improvement in overall skin health seen with M4 cream in the study. So I messaged my alloy prescribing physician about it. Within her answer, she said, in response to the Tulle question, after review with one of the investigators, they do not think the findings have a clinical significance, and that the results are confounding as the end results are statistically significant improvements in the health of the skin all around with M4. The message also said, more research is needed to examine any confounding results. The M4 product is not intended to be used as moisturizer alone. And clinical advice from physicians with the study results in mind is that M4 should be used with a moisturizer if patients do not find the M4 product hydrating enough. It does make me wonder though, could the estradiol cream used in the study be a better option than the estriol M4 cream for skin barrier function anyway? Because the study paper said the estradiol cream demonstrated barrier neutrality, and my understanding is that the estradiol cream seemed to perform well. The paper said there was no difference between the estriol and estradiol in the eyes of the investigator. Regarding possible systemic absorption of the estradiol cream, well, the paper said there was a slight increase in estradiol levels from baseline to week 12, but this change is within laboratory error and later refers to the absence of elevated serum estriol and estradiol levels in all subjects. In that phone call with Dr. Men that I told you about earlier, she mentioned the possibility of me using some of my vaginal estradiol cream on my neck mixed with some of my moisturizer. The vaginal cream has a different consistency. I didn't end up making a habit of using my vaginal estradiol cream on my neck. I'm not crazy about the other ingredients in my current cream, but I wonder if Alloy might launch the estradiol face cream that it used in the clinical study as an alternative to its estriol M4 face cream one day. We'll have to wait and see. I want to point out something else in that study paper that I asked for clarification on in case it interests you. I noticed one line where it said there were no consistent changes in skin elasticity induced by the estradiol, estriol or placebo vehicle control facial products. But I thought there was an improvement in elasticity from using M4 cream. Again, I messaged my prescribing doctor to help me to understand this. She said she was checking with the investigators and then messaged me the reply, which was, you can see that objective measurement of skin elasticity did not show consistent changes in any of the three arms. When we look at the data points produced by the investigator assessment, where the investigator assessed efficacy on a 5-point scale, we see a 12% improvement in elasticity for M4 at 12 weeks. Confounding results need further study to explain, but what is notable here is that the appearance of the skin when assessed by an expert dermatologist shows improvement in elasticity. And if you're wondering why the Alloy website shows an 88% improvement in skin elasticity after using M4 for 12 weeks, yet what I just read to you said 12% improvement, my understanding from reading the study paper and a bit of interpretation help from ChatGPT is that the 12% improvement in elasticity was when comparing M4 cream to itself at baseline, so compared to the start of the study. And the 88% improvement in elasticity was when compared to placebo. Next on the dislikes list, the directions to apply one pump didn't feel quite satisfying enough for my face and some of my neck. Later, after my 3-month review period, I found out via a message from Dr. Men, because I'd asked about it, that I could use 2 pumps a day if I'd like to. I would just need a new bottle sooner, she said. Each bottle is meant to be a 3-month supply. I also saw on Alloy's Instagram stories, they said, we recommend minimum is once a day. If you use a full large pump, it will last 3 months at once a day. If you use a smaller pump, you can likely get 3 months worth at twice a day. Next, my Alloy prescribing doctor is lovely. However, it appeared that her and Dr. Men's answers to my questions about the labeling issue and using more than 1 pump a day did not ultimately align. My understanding is that I was only able to connect with Dr. Men because of that labeling confusion I had at the start. I had intended to include an interview with her in this review video. Alloy suggested they wanted to hold off while finishing up that clinical study, which is one of the reasons why I'm filming this video a few months after my 3-month review period of using M4 cream. If I get to record an interview, I will of course post it right here on the healthHackers channel. And finally, something I noticed while preparing for this video. I can't see before and after photos showing M4 cream results on Alloy's website, which feels surprising. I spotted this image on the brand's Instagram. We know the product has been studied. It says photographs were taken. And as a customer, it'd be good to get a visual on more of those results. Maybe they're on the way. We'll see. I want to mention cost before I go. At the time of recording, M4 cream works out at $49.99 per month. As a standalone cost, that feels like a lot, but in the world of skincare, actually, I don't think it is super expensive. When I looked at another brand selling an estrogen-based prescription anti-aging cream, Muesli, theirs works out at around $33 a month because it's $67 when you opt for refills every 2 months. It says you can cancel anytime, or it's $96 for a one-time treatment. And while there are some before and after photos on the website, I haven't seen any clinical study results for Muesli's cream. One last point that I think is useful to know for anyone considering a facial estrogen cream. While I was watching a video interview with Alloy's co-founder and co-CEO Monica Molinar, I heard her suggest that in order to maintain the benefits of topical estrogen, you need to keep using it. Have you tried M4 cream? Did you take before and afters? What effects have you seen? Tell me. Also, you now know that I'm 40. What should a 40-year-old be using on their skin? What else should be on my radar? I'm open to suggestions. That's it. Subscribe for more videos. Bye-bye.